Welcome back. I am Ross Bolen here again with Jared Borislow. Jared, I have two stories to start today's show.
Okay.
Two. First up is my Uber driver from this morning. The guy picks me up, gets in the car, sees we're going to a recording studio, and he is aware of another recording studio that exists in North Austin. He thinks, based on that he needs to explain to me the definition of the word serendipity. He spends about 15 minutes trying to break down for me the odds that I'm picked up by someone who knows a tiny bit of information that has anything to do with my life. And I was like, dude, that is not... We're in Austin. There's a ton of live music and podcasting and media that goes on here. People drive past recording studios every day. It was bizarre.
So he thinks it's a crazy coincidence that he's the Uber driver picking up a guy going to a recording studio, and
he knows of another recording studio that exists, which was just the most next level idiotic shit I've ever heard.
Why does it take him so long to explain serendipity? I feel like you could explain that in like a one sentence definition.
There's no way to put this without being rude. He was not a smart man, but he knew what love was, much like Forrest Gump. My other story is related to when I got home yesterday. I get home after work, and look, I don't know. I'm a little hesitant to even say this because I'm not a narc, but nobody knows where I live now, so whatever, man. I'm not actually outing anybody. I get home, and there's a car parked in front of my neighbor's house. There's a little white kid inside. He's probably 15, 16. I guess he's got to be 16 years old. Well, no, he doesn't. Fuck, who knows? 16, 17, tiny little fucking high school kid. That's the point, okay? And nobody has ever more obviously been buying drugs in their entire life. He's like, I've been there a million times. I know exactly what it looks like. He's like leaned back in his chair. Every car that drives by, he's like doing a little double take, but trying not to look like he's looking. Essentially, you have to chill until your dealer gets out, right? But you don't want to look conspicuous, but then you get all up in your own head and you end up looking conspicuous.
Well, maybe he's just a fan of a Toyota Camry and a Nissan Sentra and a Honda Civic, and everyone that drives by is like, oh, I love that. That must be an '08.
I don't know if that's it, because what ends up happening is my neighbor exits his house, and this dude couldn't more obviously be a drug dealer. He looks exactly like you would want your drug dealer to look. He's got that drug dealer weight. He's a great big fat guy, but like, if you're a great big fat guy and a drug dealer, you carry it different.
Yeah, well, in order to push weight, you need to pack weight.
Yes, and they just look, it's a different kind of like great big fat guy. Like, look at Rick Ross, Fat Joe. These men were at the top of their game when they were carrying the most drug dealer weight. Not pushing the weight, packing the weight.
Wait, so you're saying like Rick Ross and Fat Joe, that's the drug dealer body?
Well, pre them both losing a lot of weight and now looking kind of weird.
What about Jonah Hill, peak Fat Jonah Hill?
Peak Fat Jonah, what about him? Do I think he moved weight?
Yeah.
No, he didn't have a drug dealer body.
Okay.
Didn't have drug dealer body.
I'm just trying to get
beautiful
an idea.
Man at both weights, I will add. All of these three men we're discussing here, Rick Ross, Fat Joe, and Jonah Hill, all beautiful, whatever weight they decide to be. I'm just saying, when they had drug dealer weight in the case of Rick Ross and Fat Joe, they were at the top of their games. Different kind of weight. This dude carried that kind of weight, and he didn't have his shirt on.
Wait.
Yeah.
He walked onto his front yard.
Dude, drug dealer weight, you can't care. You can't care. You're sitting around all day. You're eating munchies, waiting on phone calls, waiting on people to come by for pickups. The weight just packs in different. Like, shirts just don't look right. You got to come out. Think about how many times you've seen Rick Ross with his shirt off, how many times you've seen Fat Joe with his shirt off, and you're like, but for why? And the answer is because fuck you.
My question is this, though. If he's bringing drugs out to somebody in front of his house, don't you want to be very inconspicuous? And I feel like having your shirt off and being really fat.
This man does not care at all.
Clearly.
He's carrying a little doggy bag. Like, it couldn't have been more obvious. And he does the classic drug dealer thing, right? He goes out. Dude rolls down the window. They, like, dap each other up, probably exchanging money. Maybe not, because then he goes around and he gets in the passenger seat of the car. And he's got to sit there for a few minutes, and they got to talk for it to look less obvious in case he's being watched. At this point, I don't know. If he's being watched, it's fucking over. I don't know why the charade. But he sits in the car. This is clearly not a friendship. These two, they don't fucking know each other, really. They go to high school together, probably. Or did, when high school was a thing. Do the high schoolers get to go to school now?
I have no idea.
Or do they do it on the internets, like many of the college students?
I think it depends
I'm unaware.
on where you're at. I don't know.
I don't know. But this guy, it was just, he could not have been more obvious. Like, he
should
could
have gone
not
and told him.
have cared less. But that's the thing is now I'm like, I want to have a conversation. And they've got one of those sheds in their backyard. Like one of those, you know how everybody in Austin has one of these big fucking... And he's in there a lot at night. And now I'm thinking, like, is he growing in there? I just need to know what's happening in this man's backyard and life. And we need to be boys. I'm just going to go park my car out front, honk a couple times, and see what happens. Anyway, I was just impressed by his overall physique, attitude, general lack of fucks given. It was amazing. Really impressive stuff.
But you're not impressed by the high schooler in his car who was just looking like a total squid.
He couldn't have looked more like a squid. But it was just fun. I mean, like, we couldn't be in a more residential, boring neighborhood. And I'm kind of stoked to have a little action going on next door. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. You know? Story time to start today's show. We've got a lot to talk about, Jared. There's a lot going on.
And
some of it is very unfortunate.
Okay, a lot of people think we're going to be starting off the show talking about the biggest news story of the last week, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch shrimp tails. But we're not. We're bigger than that. We have bigger stories to talk about, even though I know that dominated all of the airwaves yesterday.
I'm actually not aware of what you're talking about.
What?
No.
Okay. You know Topanga from Boy Meets World?
Am I aware of the character Topanga on Boy Meets World? Yes.
Topanga's real-life husband opened up a box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch and was pouring out a bowl of cereal, and out came 2 Cinnamon Toast Crunch powder-covered shrimp tails.
Oh, I'm looking at the photos now. This is unfortunate.
And a lot of people are saying it's a hoax. A lot of people are saying it's not a hoax. Personally...
Oh, shocking. There are people on both sides?
There's people on both sides. There's great people on both sides. I truly, at this point, have no idea. I'm leaning towards hoax. How could shrimp tails... See, now we are starting the show talking about it, but we have to.
Yeah, you made a huge mistake.
How could shrimp tails get into the Cinnamon Toast Crunch factory?
This shit happens like once every couple years, though. Somebody's like, oh, look, I opened my McDonald's Happy Meal and there was a full-grown rat instead of a toy.
Remember, the original is when the woman opened up her Wendy's chili and there was a finger. And it turned out
it was a toe.
I thought it was a finger.
But she put it in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, these people always put it in there. That's the thing. It ends up going viral. Speaking of going viral, I'm going viral right now, and it sucks, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But you end up going viral, and then it gets exposed later on. Oh, this person's a big fat phony.
You're a big fat phony.
Hey, this guy's a phony.
My issue is this. The amount of work, if you're Topanga's husband, you're already winning at life.
There's no shrimp circumstance in a Cinnamon Toast Crunch situation.
The only thing I can think of is maybe a guy was eating a shrimp cocktail for lunch and 2 shrimp tails got caught in his shirt.
Fuck it.
Or in his shirt,
but
right?
They fell into the
assembly line, conveyor belt, whatever.
Conveyor belt, exactly.
My issue is this: if it is a hoax,
it's a conveyor belt. There's thousands of pieces of Cinnamon Toast Crunch just going down the conveyor belt, right? Individual squares, and then there's tens of guys and girls counting, checking, quality control. Is this square square? Is this square covered enough in sugar? And then this one dude, he just finished his shrimp cocktail, accidentally 2 shrimps, 3 shrimps, some shrimps. They fall into his pocket. And then he's one of the counters down there after his lunch break, and he's a little drunk because he's had some margaritas because everybody gets drunk on lunch break at the Cinnamon Toast Crunch factory. Yep. And then he bends over to take it up the tailpipe, and the shrimps fall out onto the conveyor belt, and now there's some shrimps in Topanga's husband's cereal.
Now, here's my issue. That's definitely plausible.
He's the narc.
He is a narc.
How dare you complain, sir? Delicious shrimp tails in your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You eat them and keep your mouth shut.
He should have eaten them. I wish he had eaten them.
Hey, guy, you're married to Topanga.
Yeah, you've already won at life. You don't need to complain. You don't need to get somebody fired from the Cinnamon Toast Crunch factory.
They're shutting down the whole fucking Cinnamon Toast Crunch factory right now, Jared. There's going to be a Cinnamon Toast Crunch shortage.
Here's the issue.
That's the best aftermilk from Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
We've talked about
#aftermilk. Shrimp tails and aftermilk, baby. That's what we do here.
The biggest problem I have here is if this is a hoax, that means Topanga's husband, a guy who's already winning at life, doesn't need to bring any more notoriety on himself. You are Topanga's husband, something that Corey could never do.
True.
I don't think they got married in the show, did they? You know what? They might have.
I'm gonna be real with you. I was a passive Boy Meets World fan. Passive. I would watch it and be like, yeah, I get it, but like it wasn't for me. I didn't care.
They did get married in the show.
It went too long. Too many seasons.
Yeah.
Mr. Feeney.
Oh, is he dead?
I think so. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Anyways, this guy, if this is a hoax, it means he had to essentially do this. Eat a bag of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, right? At the bottom of which
After milk
is cinnamon powder. That means he had to get 2 shrimp tails, pour out the cinnamon powder from an empty bag of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, coat them in the cinnamon, bake it in the oven for 5 to 10 minutes at 350 degrees.
I don't know about all that, but sure.
That's what he would have had to do. Look at it. It's clearly baked on.
You're a conspiracy theorist, Jared.
I'm just saying, if it's a hoax, he had to do all that work and then open up a new bag of Cinnamon Toast Crunch, put the shrimp tails in there, pour it out, take the pictures.
I'm not saying
tweet it.
I agree with you that it's clearly baked on, okay?
It looks baked on to me.
I'm glad this came up. I really didn't know about this, and I usually am all in on stuff like this. Unfortunately, my Twitter has been ruined.
Yeah, and then we can parlay this into the next.
It's completely destroyed. So let's talk about that
Can
next.
you see anything?
Because it's pretty important. First off, this episode of RBP is brought to you by Sunday. Spring is just around the corner, and that means it's time to get the lawn on track. And I know the last thing anybody needs is another complicated or toxic lawn product, but Sunday isn't just another lawn care product. It's a customized lawn plan that works with nature. They take out all the guesswork and unwanted chemicals, so you can grow a beautiful lawn that's better for people, pets, and the planet. In my first box, I got some Mighty Green to get my lawn looking right and green, also the Iron Booster. Then you get your second box. My second box has heat defense in it to protect my lawn in the hot Texas summer. Sunday is awesome. It's very easy. I knew jack shit about lawns before they came on as a sponsor, and I'm excited to finally be doing lawn maintenance and making my space look green and happy all year long, not just for me, but for my dogs and the baby as well. Sunday makes taking care of your lawn easier than ever. You just go to sunday.com like I did. You put in your home address like I did. Their free lawn analysis tool is going to show you everything you need to know about your lawn and take care of the rest all in a matter of seconds, using soil and climate data to create a tailored nutrient plan so you get all the stuff your lawn needs and nothing it doesn't. Sunday is made with ingredients that you can actually pronounce, like seaweed iron and molasses, so you can grow better and feel better about it. Let Sunday take the guesswork out of growing a greener, more beautiful lawn this spring. Visit getsunday.com/Ross to get $20 off your custom lawn plan at checkout today. That's $20 off your custom lawn plan at getsunday.com/Ross. Let's talk about how I ruined my own Twitter account. In this segment, Ross's viral Desean Watson tweet. Look, I didn't really want to talk about this on the show because it's a fucked up situation and one that is still very fluid. But I tweeted about Desean Watson, the Texans quarterback who has been trying to force his way off of the team and out of the franchise for at least a couple months now, who recently made headlines for being sued by multiple massage therapists accusing him of sexual assault. And the first day or two, it was like, okay, there's a lot that people who aren't from Houston need to understand about this. First is this. The Texans are currently owned by Cal McNair, the son of former owner Bob McNair, who died, and his son, Cal, now owns the team. Cal is a moron. This is a Tommy Boy situation. He has no clue what he's doing, and if you've paid any attention since Bob's passing, you've seen that this man is an incompetent buffoon who has let all of the talent, some of it generational, that this franchise ever had, walk out the door for next to nothing, right? First piece of the puzzle, Cal McNair, moron. Absolute moron. Desean Watson, ultra-talented, arguably generational talent of a quarterback, national championship winner at, what school?
Clemson.
Auburn? Clemson, excuse me. Good God. Now Clemson people are coming for my neck. Storied career thus
Top
far,
5
setting records as a god-awful team.
Top 5 quarterback right now.
Decides the Texans franchise isn't for him, wants to force his way out. So Cal McNair, Texans saying, no, we're not going to trade him. It's been months, a lot of controversy surrounding the situation, then this story breaks. And here's the thing that you need to understand. The man filing all of these suits on behalf of the plaintiffs, many of them masseuses who are claiming, again, that Mr. Watson assaulted them sexually, is a guy named Tony Busby, Buzbee. And if you Google Tony Busby, this is a notorious personality in Houston culture. This is a guy that ran for mayor. This is a television attorney who, yes, he got smoked. This is a television attorney who once parked a active World War II tank out in front of his house just to troll his own HOA. He is a sketchy dude, for lack of a better term. He is the guy that you would expect to do something like this to drum up publicity for his own name. Nobody here wants to doubt these women. Nobody here wants to. We're in an age of trying to better ourselves as a society and actually listen to women when they tell us that something has gone awry or that they've been mistreated or assaulted or whatever. And in this case, obviously, nobody wants to diminish the claims that these women are making, some of them anonymously. But the fact that all of them are being filed through Tony Busby serves as a reason for many people to say this is horseshit. So you have a very divided society. Half the people saying, okay, by the way, now we've hit, yesterday I believe we hit 17 lawsuits. So it went from 1 to 2 to like, oh, this is bad, to like, oh, shit, are you kidding me? 17 filed by Busby on behalf of these 17 women claiming to have been assaulted by Desean Watson, which is a lot of women. So the other side of the argument is there's too much smoke here for there to be no fire. This guy's clearly guilty. There's a lack of statement from him. His attorney, Rusty Hardin, also a notorious Houston personality who sits courtside at Rockets games my whole life and has been engaged and involved in many famous cases in Houston. I believe he was one of the Enron people, if I'm not mistaken. Not working at the company, but part of working on everything after the fact. At one point, famously, I think, I'm trying to remember the name of the blonde playboy, Jenny McCarthy, maybe? The one that passed away, though.
Oh, Anna Nicole Smith.
She famously said, "Screw you, Rusty," to him while being questioned on the stand by him. "Screw you, Rusty," was like this famous line that like made him an even more legendary personality in Houston. So you have these two heavyweight celebrity lawyers. That's what they are. Now engaged in a case that will basically define the history of Desean Watson as a human being and the Texans franchise as a football team.
And so you sent out a tweet.
I said Desean Watson is either a legit sexual predator or this is one of the most ruthless character assassinations in sports history, and either way, holy hell. Because it is undeniable that Tony Busby has a connection to the McNair family. These are family friends. So people are very suspicious that Tony Busby is doing this as a way to drive down Desean Watson's trade market so that he feels he has to stay to repair his career or something like that, which is insane and probably bullshit. But the point is, right now, none of us know. So I tweeted this out, simply speculating, really not even
it's
speculating.
Very down the
I'm
middle.
just saying, now we are at the point when 17 women had come forward at that point that it's one of two things. Either they are ruthlessly assassinating this man's character, which is not beyond the shadow of a doubt. We live in the United States of America. This is a black man. Or this is another one of those, like, one of the situations people keep throwing out is Bill Cosby. Nobody thought Bill Cosby was a sexual predator until it came out that Bill Cosby was a sexual predator. And then it was like, oh my God, America's dad is a sexual predator, and it was a fucking nightmare, and it still is.
And that one was unbelievably shocking, right? Because I went and saw Bill Cosby with my dad. It was a very family-friendly show. I'm watching this legendary comedian, at the end of his life. I'm like, you know what? This is like a bucket list item. I guess
It's like a few years ago?
Yeah, this is probably like 5 years ago.
Okay. Oh, so literally
Wait. I was in high school. So it would have been...
and it wasn't 5 years ago.
10 years ago. I'm still in college in my brain, okay?
Twice as long ago. No, I got you.
So like 10 years ago,
What an idiot.
before all this happened, maybe like a few years before it happened, it was like bucket list thing, right? See Bill Cosby
Before
live.
it being him being exposed as a monster.
Yeah. And that was very shocking. And this is equally as shocking, obviously.
I mean,
true.
it's not to me, but it is to most people. Here's what
I guess Bill
here's
Cosby
where
was-
I'm at.
yeah.
Here's where I'm at. It's because of shit like Cosby.
Yeah,
I no longer am shocked by any of this. We don't know these people.
that's true. That's
At
we
all.
don't know them at all.
Like, dude, I know people who have either been in long-term relationships with people or been like lifelong friends with people, and they find out something about them that they cannot believe. It's shocking and destroys their relationship. Happens all the time. You don't know people like you think you know people. And in the case of a celebrity, you certainly don't know dick about this guy. Like, none of us do. I was getting text messages yesterday. So this thing's got 11,000 retweets, 69,000 likes. I'm not going to say it. And it has destroyed Twitter for me. So I'm getting text messages from people who are like, I went to school with Desean. There's no way he did this. Stand-up guy. Once played beer pong with him at a party. And I'm like, dude, you don't know shit from fuck.
One of the responses...
You have no idea if this happened or not. None of us do, which is the point. The only people who know are Deshaun Watson and these women. Everybody else is just speculating. But we have somehow come to believe in the United States two things that are very contradictory at the same time. One, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in this country. But also, two, we get to put you on trial on social media before anything else and decide. So you're innocent until proven guilty, but also we get to decide.
Yep.
Before there's ever any actual legal proceedings.
One of the responses to your tweet, I believe, was, my friend went to prom with Desean. He was very respectful. He could not have done this.
Yep. That has hundreds of retweets. It's a response. It's going to be weeks before my Twitter is back to normal. So not only is my football team ruined, my quarterback potentially a sexual predator, but my Twitter has been destroyed. They're taking everything from me, the Houston sports world.
The world is crumbling around you, Russ. At least you still have your nice Cash App hat.
It's true. I do have this hat, which I enjoy very much. I should be noted, I do own a Stonk in Square. This is not financial advice, but this is a hat. I told y'all, I don't do sports anymore. I'm out. I am a corporate shill. I wear logos.
And you sell products
on
a podcast.
And move product, and that's what we do here. And I'm going to pack on drug dealer weight in 2022. I'm coming. Bill Chungus is coming back.
You're just going to be like walking out from your house shirtless, handing out liquid IVs to people, getting in their car, dapping them up, and you actually have a little pouch of liquid IV in your hand.
A. Exactly right.
Putting Felix Grays on their face in their car. Then you go and they actually take you home in their car and you do their lawn with Sunday.
Yep.
Damn.
And then I take them out back and beat their ass with some bird dogs and nunchucks. Anyway, Twitter's ruined. Deshaun Watson. Look, I've taken a lot of time to think about this situation, and I feel like I have to give a take. And I'm pretty disturbed by everything I'm reading. I don't bury people. This isn't my job to judge whether or not I think he did these things. It is my job to make sure that we all remember this and take it for what it is. A reminder that the celebrity athletes we idolize are not people we actually know. And in some cases, they make horrible mistakes or have horrible issues and commit horrible crimes. And this is gonna shake up a lot of shit, Jared. I'm seeing the discussion around Kobe Bryant's legacy being brought back into the fold as a result, because the court of public opinion deemed Kobe Bryant to be guilty of rape. He's settled out of court. If Deshaun does that here, he will be held guilty in the court of public opinion. That's what the court of public opinion does. Reassessing that in this light is going to happen. It's going to hurt. And it's totally fair, frankly. It's a redefining of this entire situation where we put our male celebrity A-list athletes and actors and directors and producers and powerful men in positions of influence, and when they abuse that power, what is done about it? That shit has changed. It's not 1995.
And I can even think of a lot of athletes over the last few years who, like, it became a 24-hour news cycle story and got swept under the rug. Like Peyton Manning is another one. Like this is a very widespread potential reckoning that we're kind of in the middle of.
Not potential. It is happening. It is a reckoning. It's crazy to watch how many people get swept up in it. And in some cases, the people you would never expect, right? I mean, this is a guy who couldn't put forward a more squeaky clean face, which is what at the end of the day makes me really suspicious. Really suspicious. So, I don't know. I am sad for everyone involved. Like the whole city. I'm sad for all of Houston at this point. Like, this is embarrassing. And it's horrifying that this dude may be as mixed up as it seems he is. So, on that note, please stop responding to this tweet. Please stop retweeting it, liking it. This is the horror of social media, though, right? It's the nightmare. You can't predict stuff like this. I tweeted that, walked into the studio, recorded, walked out, and expected nothing. I wasn't like, man, that's going to go off. Or like, ooh, I can't wait to see what people reply to it. Like, it was just my thought. I was like, damn, this is a thought I have. Tweet. And then went into the studio and walked out and was like, Jared, we have a problem. And now it's ruined. It's ruined the act, Job. I'm sad about that. Twitter is dead for me. But there's good news, Jared.
What?
Brings us to our next topic. We, you and I, J-Bone, and Bill are TikTok influencers now. Viral TikTok influencers. We've been calling ourselves the Viral Boys.
We are extremely viral on TikTok. I don't know if you guys
I'm viral
know.
on Twitter, but...
Well, yeah, you're viral on Twitter. I'm viral on TikTok, and
we are the Viral Boys.
We're both viral on TikTok.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. A lot of you don't even know we have a TikTok.
I didn't even know we had a TikTok till very recently.
Yeah. So what happened was this: we had a TikTok intern who posted the Ryan Lochte clip I made that you may have seen on social media to TikTok, and it popped off. Right?
It did. Important to note, I'm 33. You're somewhere in your 20s. We're not the TikTok generation.
I did not have TikTok downloaded until I started working for Bolen Media.
I made a TikTok like yesterday after our TikToks started going viral and we became TikTok influencers. I didn't even have a TikTok until I was already a TikTok influencer.
Exactly. See, that's how much of an influencer you are.
Yeah.
You're
I Benjamin Buttoned.
You preceded your own presence on the platform on TikTok. That's crazy.
I incepted it.
So we ended up getting like 200,000 views on this Ryan Lochte video. When it popped off, I was like, okay, well,
that's a lot of people.
I was like, clearly we need to focus on TikTok. So I started making it part of my full-time job to focus on TikTok. Posted another one, 2,000. Didn't really do anything. I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's not that good. Then I posted me saying all 50 states in 12.54 seconds, which is from last Friday's Patreon episode, which, if you want to see it,
Patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast for the full episode in which Jared rattles off all 50 states in astonishing fashion.
Yes. Or you can look at it on TikTok, where currently 231,000 people have seen it. Ross?
Your thoughts?
That's like what I say in the video. Anyways, TikTok is crazy, okay? I want to tell people this. When the Ryan Lochte one...
Can I explain quickly how this works?
Yeah.
All right. Every other social media platform, Twitter. Twitter is actually a weird one where it just doesn't... Okay, let me put it this way. Instagram. When you put up an Instagram post, if you put up a post 5 years ago, it would have been much more naturally exposed to your audience than it is now. The algorithm, paid promotion, these things are heavy in Facebook's strategy for how they make money and drive up their stock price and keep their board members happy and all that nonsense. So they have made it to where you have to pay for exposure. They did this on Facebook in 2014. It massively impacted Jared and I's careers. At that point, we were getting millions and millions of page views every single month through Facebook onto the website that we worked at where we were writing columns and articles at that point in time. Then Facebook said, like, cool, y'all have seen the power, now pay us if you want to access that. It sucked. Well, you remember Facebook bought Instagram. It was only a matter of time before they did this with Instagram. They've done this with Instagram. And now you cannot get the same kind of natural love on Instagram that you once could. A picture that might have gotten you 2,000 likes, let's just say, in 2017, it's going to get you half that now, maybe. And it totally depends on if you know how to play the game and what your picture is and all that stuff, obviously. But the point is natural exposure has been limited on Instagram. The place where natural exposure is the most heavy now, and I've seen this shift several times throughout my career. It was once on Twitter, then it was Facebook, then it was Instagram, now it's TikTok. TikTok is the place that you can still get... They want their creators to get as much exposure as possible. They're still in the phase of building up the platform to get in as many users as possible, still grabbing millennials like me and you. They're still in the growth phase. They're not in the phase where they're doing full-blown monetization and worried about stock price and all that shit, and I'm very unclear who even owns this. I remember Donald Trump trying to force the Chinese company to sell it to a part American company or some shit. Very confused on that whole thing still. But TikTok is the platform where you can get the exposure that can turn you from a nobody into a celebrity overnight. That's not a thing that exists on Instagram anymore.
And here's how that works, right? The biggest thing that makes TikTok so different from Instagram is that the majority of people who are on TikTok are doing the For You algorithm that TikTok has, where it serves you videos for you. It looks at the videos you've liked, ones you've watched, how long you watch these videos, and goes, oh, this video, we've scanned it, and it has this in it. We think you might like it. So, because so many people use the For You thing, the For You tab on TikTok, TikTok is incentivizing creators to make good content by putting them in that For You to keep people addicted to TikTok, right?
Yes, that's their whole thing. The more eyes on TikTok, the less eyes on Instagram, the less eyes elsewhere, the more money long term. So they're in this for the long term play still, which is very beneficial to us as creators.
Yes.
Therefore, if we put up a video about Ryan Lochte and we add a bunch of hashtags like Olympic swimmers, Ryan Lochte, Lochte Nation, whatever the fuck, people that like those things, that watch other videos that TikTok deems relative to that one, they're going to get served that video in their For You.
Yes.
So they've served it to 230,000 plus people or whatever, however many, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's not a thing that happens on the gram. So what does Instagram do? They say, shit, TikTok is crushing us. We need toxin ticks. We have to call them something else, though. How about Reels?
Reels.
So they go with a 30-second version of what essentially TikTok is, and they call it Reels. Now they have to motivate people to make these Reels. How do they do that? They give them exposure in exchange for making Reels. They expose themselves. And so what's funny is TikTok's double as Reels. You see a lot of people on Instagram just posting a TikTok that they made with a little TikTok symbol in the bottom as a Reel. Instagram has figured out a way to kind of fuck with TikTok. And we have found a way to kind of fuck with Instagram again, because the Reels are the only thing that any Instagram is not giving love to anybody promoting anything unless it's a Reel at this point, unless you're paying.
Yeah. And
so
what I want
we
people
just pump them out on Instagram too. Follow us at the Ross Bolen Podcast on Instagram.
So here's the crazy thing people need to understand, right? When I'm saying we have 2 videos now with over 200,000 views on TikTok.
Yes.
We have under 2,000 followers.
And only, we broke 1,000 yesterday.
We broke 1,000 followers yesterday, and we have 2 videos with over 200. That's how much organic exposure you're getting on TikTok.
So organic exposure, meaning it's not coming from your following.
Yes.
It's coming from the platform. That is not a thing I've seen on any of these other ones we mentioned. Not to that degree. And you have to remember, one of the things to keep in mind here, audience, is that TikTok counts the second you start watching a video. If it starts, that's a play. So they're boosting these numbers.
Yes.
A lot of these other platforms, you have to watch for X amount of seconds or whatever before they'll actually give you a play out of, or a download or whatever they call it. But on TikTok, they're straight up giving you that shit if it starts.
People should also understand, on Instagram, where we're doing Reels, the Instagram version of TikTok, we have over 30,000 followers, and our videos are getting like in between 10
and 25,000
to 30,000, right?
I mean, we got a couple that have popped off for 40, etc., but nothing. It's not the same, right?
TikTok's still the place for that organic exposure.
And it's crazy. It's crazy to see. And it's one of those things where, like, over the course of my career, I remember the first time Snapchat came out, and I was like, man, fuck that. I'm not adding another social media. I don't even know how to use this. These kids are crazy. I'm getting old. That was like 10 years ago. At some point, I was like, TikTok came out, and I was like, look, I was just in a place where I couldn't do it right then. I couldn't do it. I was like, I can't go Gen Z right now. I can't go figure out these kids and their new platform. How do I reach these kids? How do we reach these kids? Now that Instagram kind of accidentally showed me the power of TikTok, it's undeniable that we have to be there. And now that we've become viral TikTok influencers, there's no running away from this life, Jared.
There's not. Shouts to intern Mike for showing us the power of TikTok, and we're taking off.
We would like our audience, otherwise known as the RBP gang, to help us come up with a name for our TikTok house. Because we do officially have, like, our full-blown office content house now, our TikTok house, and all these kids, they got cool names for their houses in Los Angeles and shit. Jared and I need a cool TikTok house name, and then we're going to start, like, doing real sexy videos in the mirror. We were talking about this with Barrett Dudley, my co-host on Oysters, Clams, and Cockles yesterday, Jared, but it is kind of funny how, like, all right, when I was in high school, girls would do, like, flirty little, funny little, like, pictures mostly. Videos didn't exist at that time. The video hadn't been invented when I was in high school, but they had pictures. So, it would be like 2 girls putting up a picture of themselves in the mirror in their bathroom trying to be sexy. That was normal. Then nobody blinked an eye. That was like, okay, that's what chicks do. If you were a dude and you did that, people were like, what the fuck is happening here? This was 2005, okay? It's a long time ago. Damn, I'm old. And now TikTok is like mostly filled with dudes doing this exact same premise, but with video. It's like them just standing in the mirror together, like shirts on in the first one, like doing kissy duck faces, and then like a thing flashes or something and their shirts are gone and they're like touching each other's abs. And you're like, what the hell is this? Is this softcore gay porn? And it kind of is. It kind of is. That's TikTok.
TikTok is an incredibly sexualized platform on both sides.
Jared.
Well, on all sides. There's not more than two sides.
Look, I'll be honest with you. The first day we got in there and went viral and became TikTok influencers, I had to go check it out. And I was like, oh, this is just a gateway to porn.
Yeah.
This is literally just a stop on the way to watching porn.
A lot of TikTok is exactly that.
Like, you spend 5 minutes on TikTok, Daddy horny Michael. Like, that is a disturbingly sexual platform. It is. For everybody.
Part of the reason it's so
People
addicting.
who like young dudes doing weird stuff in the mirror. People who like seeing chicks do voiceovers from The Little Mermaid. And everybody in between. There's something for everybody on there, but it's mostly sexualized. And then there's Jared and I. Wholesome, shirt-wearing, oil-less influencers.
But I will pop top on the TikTok once we hit 100,000 followers.
Yeah, no, undoubtedly, we're going to take our clothes off on there. We're going to sing and dance, too. It's just a matter of time before we full-blown sell out.
I'll say this. I have a plan for Halloween, okay?
Already?
Yes.
It's March.
Yeah, I know. Many of you may have known that I believe 2 years ago now, a TikTok trend for Halloween went viral, and it was essentially the Bone Zone theme music, Spooky Scary Skeletons, people dancing and doing a skeleton dance to a remix of that. And if we hit 50,000 followers on TikTok by this Halloween, I'm going to dress up in a skeleton costume, hire a professional dance teacher,
learn the dance,
and do it on TikTok. And I will stream me learning the dance.
The company will pay for all of this if we hit
Yeah.
50,000 followers on TikTok.
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
I'll even buy you a fresh new pair of skeleton shoes to do the dance in, dude.
What are skeleton shoes?
I don't know,
We'll expense it.
but we will expense it. What was this about?
TikTok.
TikTok. Oh, we're influencers now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So follow us on TikTok at the Ross Bolen Podcast.
Yeah, I'm at WR Bolen on TikTok. If you get in right now on my TikTok, you can be one of the first 5 followers. Isn't that dope to know? Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually not true anymore. Let's see where I'm at now. I have 2 followers, so you can be one of the first 3. My followers are Mike, our intern. Our own podcast doesn't even follow me. Come on, man. Throw me a follow, bro.
I don't follow scrubs. We're viral now.
2 followers? My videos have 5 plays. You know how long it's been since I got to be new guy on a social media platform with no following? This is like a whole new leaf for me.
Oh, that's when you joined Gab.
What the hell is Gab?
It's like Parlor.
Damn it. No, I didn't, Jared. No, I didn't.
Ross isn't on those platforms that I know of, at least.
I've got a burner on Parlor just to keep up with them. See what they're doing over there. It's not good, what they're doing, it turns out. It's not good at all. And on that note, this episode of RBP is brought to you by Quip, makers of the greatest toothbrush and oral care products in all the land, and longtime supporter of this podcast. And now you won't believe this, but they make the greatest gum I've ever tasted, so listen up. Gum is the unsung hero when it comes to better oral health. The American Dental Association recommends chewing sugar-free gum for 20 minutes after meals. Did you know that? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Gum is something people chew as a way to relieve stress, curb appetites, and more importantly, freshen breath. But many people don't realize that gum can also be an integral part of a healthy oral care routine. And it was only a few short years ago that Quip reinvented the toothbrush for the modern age. They've done it again, Jared, this time for chewing gum. They launched a new gum. It's actually good for your oral health and comes with a dispenser that'll remind you of the one-click candy you loved as a kid. It's freaking awesome. Quip gum can help prevent cavities and freshen breath when chewed for 20 minutes after eating. It's sugar-free, has a tooth-friendly xylitol with 0 calories. And to satisfy your taste buds, Quip added a long-lasting mint flavor, crunchy tri-layer design, and stamped it all with the classic Quip tongue. The slim travel-ready dispenser is available in 5 colors, metal or plastic, and it packs and protects up to 10 pieces of gum at a time, fits in just about any purse or pocket for on-the-go consumption. In a world where we all need to be extra safe and hygienic, the quick release button means you can share with friends, no wrappers, hands, or hassles. Spread good oral health habits this season and join the over 5 million mouths already using Quip. Get chewing for less than $2 per gum pack. And if you go to getquip.com/RBP right now, you can get a free plastic dispenser with any refill plan. That's a free dispenser at getquip.com/RBP, GETQUIP.com/RBP. Quip, the good habits company. Next segment, the Suez Canal traffic jam. It's canal time. We're doing canal talk today on the show, Jared. You're aware of the Suez Canal. You learned about it in high school at some point when they were teaching us about all the different important canals and waterways and such.
Did you?
A little bit.
Where is it?
Oh, I have no clue.
Oh, okay.
Near Egypt.
It's in Egypt, yeah.
Is it in Egypt? Like through the middle of Egypt?
Yes.
Suez. There was a traffic jam.
Mm-hmm.
A very bad one. It's actually being solved as we speak. Should almost be completely solved, in fact. But this is one of the most important canals in the world in terms of shipping on a day-to-day. And the ship sunk in it.
Well, it
Sort of.
ran aground. It's the opposite of sinking, actually.
But was
It's going
part
higher.
of it up and part of it down?
No. Well, part of it was a little up, but the other part was still very much floating. It ran aground.
It ran aground.
Yeah, high winds and a sandstorm have caused this large ship called the Ever Given. Even though it says
The Evergreen.
Evergreen. No, it's called the Ever Given. It says Evergreen on the side,
You're right.
but and that's confusing to me. That's the
That is
first
very confusing.
sign to me that this ship stinks.
This ship does stink. It looks like it stinks, too.
It does, right?
What's on there?
A large shipping container.
Potatoes.
It might be potatoes.
Who's to say? Probably the authorities.
They're probably going to, when potatoes get old and they start growing the little eyes, they start roots just start coming out of the potato. It's probably
Yeah.
happening on this ship right now.
Yeah, buddy.
Hate
It's a
to see that.
skyscraper-sized container ship, though. That's important to know. It's like bigger than the Eiffel Tower. And it was just run aground in one of the most important waterways in the world, blocking international container ships from making their way through the Suez Canal. I can't believe they put the wrong name on the side of this thing.
Right? Like, did they change the name, or was it just like something got lost in translation?
When you go to get your next registration, they're like, yeah, you gotta update this.
Yeah.
One way or the other. Either change the legal name to the Evergreen or write the Ever Given on the side. What the hell is Ever Given even mean?
It pissed me off.
I'm pissed now.
That was when I saw that, I had to go. I don't like when I need to do my own research. I saw Ever Given, saw Evergreen on the ship, and I'm like, great, now I need to spend 2 minutes
Figuring
actually
out why.
looking up the name of the ship.
Fucking A.
So, yeah, the ship ran aground, and it blocked. Apparently, 50 ships a day go through the Suez Canal. And these ships are massive, like this one, and carry a shit ton of cargo.
Again, skyscraper-sized.
Yes. And skyscraper long. I guess that's what the sizing, that's probably what they mean by that. It's sideways.
Yeah.
It's not skyscraper tall ship.
You getting into like a chode type of conversation now that I don't know if I want to touch.
You don't want to touch the chode?
I don't want to touch the chode.
And it was a huge deal because, like I said, this is a massive percentage of the daily shipping that goes on in the world. This canal is extremely important. One of the two most important canals in the world. It might be the most important canal in the world.
It's a top 3 canal.
What's the third? I only know 2 canals.
It's at least top 5. Top 5, top 5,
Ooh,
top 5.
I know they are. Panama Canal, Suez Canal, the Venice Canals with the gondoliers in their little Hamburglar shirts.
Okay.
Just pushing down married couples down the canals of Venice.
Sure. I'm now reading about all the most famous canals in the world, the canals.
Don't call them canals. Come on.
Some parts of the world, that's what they're called. The Canals of Bruges. Bruges.
Oh, yes.
In Bruges. One of my favorite films.
Colin Farrell at his
about
best.
time. I can't believe you're saying that. Happy moment for me, Jared, for us to talk about a movie that we both agree on. That's huge. Belgium, beautiful. Beautiful. Bruges, great canals. Great canals. The Canals of Amsterdam, also very famous, and the Canals of Venice are listed as number 1 on the most famous that I'm looking at right now, Jared.
Now,
Can
the
you
difference
believe it?
is
Important versus famous is an
Yes.
important distinction here, too.
because nobody's putting massive amounts of cargo through the Venice canals on little gondolier ships.
Yeah.
You can't fit much on there. You can only fit a little married couple making out,
Right.
maybe touching thighs.
Yeah.
That's it. You can't put like a large shipping container full of potatoes.
So, like, the most important canals in the world are the Beijing Hangzhou Grand Canal, which is the longest and oldest canal, connecting China's Yellow River and Yangtze. I never know how to pronounce that one. Yangtze. It's
Yangtze.
the TZE that fucks me.
Yangtze.
Because I'm ignorant scum.
Mhm.
Uncultured swine.
I thought the longest and widest canal in the world was your asshole.
Number 2 is the Suez, which is the one we're discussing that was got a traffic jam that we're upset by because of this ship's name. And 3 is the Panama. Did you know that at one point there was actually I can't remember what specifically it was, but something about the Panama Canal. Wasn't there a military conflict centering on the Panama Canal at one point that we learned about in high school too?
Well, what happened was the United States owned the Panama Canal Zone. And, for example, John McCain was born in the Panama Canal Zone.
Was he really?
Yeah, which is technically part of American territory. And so he was allowed to run for president still, even though he was born in Panama. Fun fact. Just like Ted Cruz was born in Canada.
We invaded Panama with Operation Just Cause.
I bet
Hey,
you
that's one way to validate your decision to invade a place. What do we name it? Just Cause.
Operation We're Right.
Operation
Don't Look.
Operation Moral High Ground. Like, what the fuck, man? You can't just name it Just Cause. Anyway, we invaded Panama at one point. Tight.
Great. We've invaded a lot of Central and South America.
I don't have the slightest clue what we own anymore and what we don't as a country.
We gave Panama the canal. That's in their own country. We're like, hey, you know what? We'll be nice guys.
Was it part of Operation Generous Donor that we gave them back their own canal?
Yeah.
Their canal?
But
I'm glad they unjammed the Suez, though, Jared. This is huge for international water traffic.
It is. And here's the crazy thing about this, okay?
Uh-huh.
This is not the craziest story to come out of the Suez Canal.
What is?
Let me read you a story. This is from the website Amusing Planet.
Tell me a tale.
Here's the headline. How war marooned 15 ships in the Suez Canal for 8 years. 8 years, Ross.
That's a long time for a ship to be marooned.
For 15 ships with crews on them. Here's the deal.
Wait, they were populated with people?
Yes. Ross?
Did they have to survive on the ships? They didn't bail?
We'll get into it.
Okay, let's get into it.
In 1967, Israel's relationship with Egypt turned sour over the closure of the Straits of Tiran around the Sinai Peninsula to Israeli vessels. So the Sinai Peninsula is the little piece of land that connects Africa to the Middle East. It's part of Egypt.
And instead of water, it's just cyanide.
It's Sinai.
Oh, excuse me.
Yes, Sinai. And so on the west side of the Sinai Canal, the Sinai Peninsula is the Suez Canal.
Okay.
So the Suez Canal just cuts right through the west side of the Sinai Peninsula.
Yeah.
Israel reacted to this Egypt turning sour over the closure of the Straits of Tiran by capturing the entire Sinai Peninsula, and Egyptian forces retreated to the west across the Suez Canal. But as they did, they blocked the canal behind them to prevent the Israelis from using it.
Smart. The old blow the bridge up on your way across move.
So while all this is going on, that summer, a convoy of 15 ships, 4 British, 2 American, 2 Swedish, 2 Polish, 2 West German, 1 French,
convoy,
a Bulgarian, and a Czechoslovak. They were all headed southward through the 100-mile canal when fighting broke out.
Convoy going through the canal.
The convoy had reached nearly the halfway mark through the canal when Egypt's president ordered the canal closed and blocked. What the Egyptians did was they dragged old ships, dredgers, and other watercrafts to both ends of the canal and just sunk them.
Oh, that was fucking intelligent.
They were just
they said, no more canal.
Nope.
And they sunk the shippies.
They sunk them.
This reminds me of the time I was riding an escalator in the mall from the first floor to the second floor. Fucking thing just died, me in the middle of it.
What'd you do? You were stuck. You couldn't.
I sunk myself on one end.
You couldn't do anything.
No, I walked.
Would have been way funnier
up to the top.
If it was like you were stranded in an elevator and you were just like, "Help! Somebody, please help!"
One time as a little kid, this is kind of funny. My mom used to work at the Fellowship of Excitement, is what it was called, at the Second Baptist Church in Houston, Texas. She was a personal trainer. Fellowship of Excitement was the gym area and the lifestyle part of the church, I guess. There was gym and they had aerobics classes. It was the fucking 90s. And when my mom would go teach, I would run around and like I'd get to play basketball on the basketball court. I'd get to go play, whatever I wanted. I got to mess around with the weight room, play computer games in somebody's office, whatever. Well, one day I was with one of the other kids' moms who worked there. And we were like, let's go play some racquetball. There were racquetball courts. We got locked inside the racquetball court, which is only hilarious because it is a glass wall. Everyone walking by can see you. And anybody who's ever played racquetball, you're aware how the racquetball door works, right? It's the little thing you pull it up, you have to turn it. So little kids were fucking idiots. We didn't know how this racquetball door worked, and that's why we got locked in there. But nobody can hear you scream. Like, the racquetball court is the perfect place to commit a murder because we were in there like, fuck, Mom! Like, banging on doors, and like sweaty old dudes walking by are just like, they don't even hear us. Like, we were in there for hours. Hours, Jared.
In the racquetball court.
I was parched by the time they opened the door. Parched. Scarred me for life.
Damn. That's in the racquetball court, no one can hear you scream. It's like the movie Alien. So here's what happened, Ross. This war I told you about between the Egyptians and the Israelis, guess how long it lasted?
7 years.
No, it lasted 6 days, but the canal remained closed for the next 8 years, imprisoning the 15 ships and their reluctant crews inside. For 8 years. These 15 ships became known as the Yellow Fleet because the desert sands beat at them for 8 years straight, turning all the ships yellow. What's crazy and sucks for one of the 15 ships...
All of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
But, well, I'll get into why it didn't suck that much. One of the 15 ships, one of the American ones, the SS Observer...
Was it just filled with Victoria's Secret models? What could possibly be on... Tell me.
This is still the bad part. The American ship, the SS Observer, got cut off from the rest of the ships, and it had to spend its 8 years alone by itself in the smaller Lake Timza area of the canal, while the other 14 were positioned in the Great Bitter Lake, which is the widest part of the canal. Now, the SS Observer in Lake Timza...
There are lakes in the canal?
The canal, how the canal works is they connected the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea with the canal, and what they did was they used lakes in between the Mediterranean Sea and the Red Sea as like a way of making the canal easier to make, right? So you have these lakes that already existed that were right in the middle.
Because you got to remember, the Suez man-made.
Yes.
We dug this canal.
Yes. We dug it. And so what they did to make it easier
to... credit to me, too. I did it.
Ross dug it. Dug it.
All of us are one.
Yeah, so they had these lakes in the middle, and they would make these waterways, these artificial waterways. They would dredge, and they'd connect the Red Sea to the Great Bitter Lake, which they then connect to Lake Timza, which they then connect to the Mediterranean Sea. So here's the dish. Here's the dish. Here's the deal, Ross. Lake Timza, where the one American ship was stuck alone for 8 years. You know what the lake is also known as?
Lake Titicaca.
Crocodile Lake.
Shit, man. Why'd they name it that?
Presumably because it's full of crocodiles. Yeah. So the SS Observer was stuck for 8 years in Crocodile Lake by itself, alone.
Okay, I was going to ask, why not get off the ship and leave? And now we know why. It's surrounded by crocodiles.
So they did. The crews were rotated every 3 to 4 months for all these ships. And over the 8-year period, some 3,000 men did duty on the stranded Suez ships. But what I want to get into is...
They did duty?
They did duty.
On the poop deck?
A lot of duty on the poop deck. What I want to get into is the Great Bitter Lake, where the 14 ships were stuck, okay? On the 5th month of this 8-year expedition, the officers and crews of all 14 ships, which are all from different countries, they don't speak the same languages.
Okay.
They got together and founded the Great Bitter Lake Association. To pass time, they organized social events and activities, such as card games, barbecue parties on the deck, movie nights, football tournaments, soccer, presumably, and water skiing. Lifeboats were equipped with sailing gear.
Did you say water skiing?
Yeah, they water skied.
Around the alligators?
Yes.
Crocodiles? Excuse me.
I actually don't know if there were still crocodiles in at this point because it's technically saltwater.
But saltwater crocs, baby. You know this.
Yeah, you're right.
You know this.
Yeah, you're right. Or saltwater crocs. Do they live in Africa? I don't know. But either way, they were doing all these games. Sailing and diving.
Did you say jet skiing?
I did not say jet skiing. I said water skiing.
Oh.
Soccer games were played on the largest ship, the MS Port Invercargill, while church services were held on the West German motor ship Nordwind. Movies were shown on the Bulgarian freighter Vasilevsky.
So they just said fuck it and set up a society on these ships.
They did, because they were there for 8 years.
Yeah, you have to, I think, at that point.
More than a year into their captivity, the fleet organized the Bitter Lake Olympics, coinciding with the 1968 Summer Olympic Games in Mexico City. Crews from 8 nations competed in 14 disciplines, including sailing, diving, sprinting, high jump, archery, shooting, and water polo. The Poles won the Olympics overall, the Germans came second, and the British came in third.
What the hell?
All this
is
happened in the middle of the Suez Canal while it's blocked off.
This is the thing about human history that is so fascinating to me, is there's stuff like this that, like, absolutely crazy circumstances lead to this extraordinary event. That has happened so many times that we don't even know about, like, a bunch of the cool shit that's happened, which is why I like delving into it. This one's a total surprise to me.
The canal finally opened in 1975, but only 2 ships, the German Münsterland and Nordwind, were able to return home under their own power. The other ones were just destroyed by wind and not having their engines run probably for 8 years.
Were there only men aboard?
Sand. I think so.
Just kind of assuming that they're
Said
wildly sexist over there in the canals.
So these 2 German ships returned to a crowd of 30,000 cheering spectators in Hamburg. As for the rest of the ships...
You did it!
You'd survived.
You did it, thank you.
As for the rest of the ships, Ross, after years of inactivity and isolation, the rest of these sand-battered ships were in too bad shape to be salvaged. One of the ships, the American vessel SS African Glenn, was sunk in 1973 by an Israeli rocket.
Oh, shit.
Just while it was stuck in the middle of the canal.
Israel was like, fire the missiles!
Why did they let it be there for 6 years? Why were they like, you know what? That ship's been there 6 years. They're looking at us weird. Let's just blow it up. It can't move. Why'd they blow it up?
But I'm a little tired. Then take a nap. Then fire the missiles.
Yeah,
Why'd they shoot one?
I don't get it. I don't know. The British wrote off its 4 ships as insurance losses. Very British thing to do.
That is very British.
And the Swedish ship Nippon was bought by Norway. And then the Norwegians just took it out of there, I guess.
Huzzah!
If you want to see really awesome pictures from the Great Bitter Lake Association in this article, go to Amusing Planet and just type in Great Bitter Lake Association.
I would like to join the Great Bitter Lake Association.
Me
if
too.
I could get an application, that would please me.
I would really love to. And lastly, if you want to... I first heard about this story on my favorite podcast, 99% Invisible. Check it out.
I thought this was your favorite podcast.
This is not my favorite podcast. It's actually my least favorite podcast.
Okay.
99% Invisible, Great Bitter Lake Association. Roman Mars crushes it, as always. Let's do it, baby.
Roman Mars. On that note, I'll give you this quote. The great 19th century philosopher Schopenhauer, he said, at that moment when a human sees another human in danger, that there's this breaking in of metaphysical awareness. Do you know what that awareness is, Jared?
Sex.
That we're all one. That separateness is an illusion, and that I'm one with everyone. With the Prime Minister of England, and my cousin Harry, you and me, the fat kid from What's Happening, the Olsen twins, Natalie Portman, the guy who wrote Catcher in the Rye, Nat King Cole, Carrot Top, Jay-Z, Weird Al Yankovic, Harry Potter, if he existed, the whore on the street corner, your mother. We're all one. All of us.
What does that have to do with the Great Bitter Lake Association?
It's their motto. I read off their website.
I mean, most of those things weren't around in the 70s.
It's a quote from Wedding Crashers.
Oh, okay.
Wedding Crashers. This episode of RBP is also brought to you by Talkspace. The pandemic has obviously changed everyone's mental health. Some of us are juggling childcare with working full-time in our homes. Some of us are fighting with our partners more than usual. On top of that, many of us are encountering unexpected job changes and challenges. It's a lot to handle, even under normal circumstances, but especially grueling during a pandemic. All of this leads to a crushing amount of stress, which is why I'm grateful, personally, that I have my Talkspace therapist who lets me vent anytime I want. Talkspace therapists give you the support you need to feel your best. They have thousands of licensed physicians trained in over 40 specialties, including anxiety, depression, relationships, and more. Your therapist can help you set and achieve your goals. You're going to be amazed at how much progress you make each week that you attend therapy, and it's affordable. Talkspace is a fraction of the cost of in-person therapy. Instead of waiting for an appointment, you can send unlimited text messages to your therapist 24/7, and they'll engage with you daily, 5 days a week. Their network has thousands of licensed therapists with years of experience in a ton of categories, like beyond the ones we already mentioned: substance abuse, trauma, anger management, food and eating, and so much more. And it's secure. Talkspace is secure and private, using the latest end-to-end bank-grade encryption technology to store client information and comply with the latest HIPAA regulations. My therapist gives me the practical advice that I need to change my life for the better. each and every week. I'm so glad I found Talkspace and get the support that I need. You can too. And as a listener of this podcast, you'll get $100 off of your first month with Talkspace. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com or download the Talkspace app. Make sure you use the code RBP to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's the code RBP when you go to Talkspace.com or download the app and sign up today using the code RBP to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show at Talkspace.com. Oh, man, I'm glad we're getting the Suez Canal cleared out, though, you know? Feels like I just took a giant shit. Just cleared it out.
Yep.
Free and clear.
You ate some prunes this morning, drank some coffee.
I don't know if I've ever had a prune. Ever.
You ever like go in the pool and your hands get pruny? You just go suck on them. It's kind of the same thing.
What? I don't know if it's the same, Jared.
Well,
but we are on social media. You can follow us at the Ross Bolen Podcast on Instagram and TikTok. If you don't follow us on TikTok right now, we will come to your house. We will put a brown paper bag filled with dog poo on your doorstep, and we will light it on fire. Just keep that in mind.
it's poop again.
It's poop again. Don't put it out with your boots, Ted. Don't tell me my business, devil woman. Call the fire department. This one's out of control. He called the shit poop. Okay, I could do the
How
whole
do
movie.
you know entire sequences from movies?
I've seen that movie like 20 times, though.
I was like proud of being able to say one quote that you would understand because people know this a lot. Ross loves movie quotes, makes them all the time. I know like 5 movie quotes. Whenever I get to spout one out, I'm really excited. But then Ross just took my quote and then allowed it
And did the whole scene.
and did the entire scene. So I feel like what was the point of me even being here?
To call the shit poop.
I didn't even call it shit poop. That's not even the quote I used.
Follow us on TikTok, or we're going to take our shit poop to your doorstep and light it aflame. At the Ross Bolen Podcast on TikTok, where we're getting hundreds of millions of spins on a daily basis. This is just hot flames on this pod.
I'm gonna be very famous on TikTok soon. I'm gonna be taking my shirt off. I'm gonna be just rubbing my nipples and dancing and playing that song that's on every TikTok. Oh no, oh no, oh no, no,
Man,
no, no.
fuck that song.
I hate that song
Straight
so
up.
much.
Fuck that song.
It's on every TikTok I've seen.
If you ever put up a TikTok with that goddamn song on it, we're done. I'll delete the account and we're out.
Is that
So
a
follow us
challenge?
now,
Is that a
because who
challenge?
knows when that could happen. It could be tomorrow. It could be a flash in the pan. We could be the hottest thing on TikTok for 24 hours.
Do you think? I have a question for you. Do you think if I was considering like clips from this show to put on TikTok, do you think TikTok would like it or hate it if we talked about TikTok being an inroad to watching porn?
Probably hate it.
You think
But
so?
I don't think they're at the phase yet where they care. They just crank it all up. I think for our TikTok squad, because we got 2 of us, right? But you can't just do 2. You need more than 2 people for the...
You see that?
Did you just absolutely
I caught a
abort
sneeze.
a sneeze?
I caught it. I just caught a sneeze. Look at it. Watch us on YouTube.
You fucking murderer.
YouTube.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Is that what it is?
I don't know. You just search the Ross Bolen Podcast on YouTube. We're also on Twitter at Ross Bolen Pod. I'm everywhere at WR Bolen. Be one of my first 3 TikTok followers now on TikTok, where we influence
Ross, how did I just catch that sneeze?
with viral videos. You aborted that sneeze. I watched it happen.
I've never done that before.
You put it in your mind vice and crushed it, and then you looked so happy about what you were. You went, fuck, I'm going to end the show with a sneeze, and I could tell, and you were like, I'm going to crush this in my mind vice. And then it actually worked, and you lit up like a fucking child on Christmas morning.
I also need to say this. So I had an idea for a TikTok video, and in order to make this video happen, I need to force talking about something into the show.
Okay, let's just get it over with.
Okay, ready?
Yeah?
I need you play along.
Oh, yeah, of course.
This, like, ham it up for the TikTok.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Ha, 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 ha.
Okay, Ross,
Yeah?
I have something I need to admit to you.
What's that?
In college, I did a bad thing.
Okay.
One time I took a shot of a ringed out bar rag.
Just to be clear, so you didn't just do the shot off of the bar mat like some people do and they call it like a whatever. You got the bar rag, ringed it out into a shot glass, and then poured that liquid into your face hole and swallowed it and digested it and made it part of you.
No. I made the bartender wring out the bar rag into a shot glass, and then I took the shot.
Did you pay money for this?
Yeah, and I tipped well because I made her wring out a bar rag into a shot glass.
It feels illegal, like a health issue.
You have to
Health
think.
and standards and safety issue, you know? Like, you're not supposed to do that. But I also get how if you're a bartender and there's a kid saying, I'll give you $20 into the fucking... and this is like, I don't know why this is a thing, but I remember this part of me in college was like, I'm drunk, I'm going to do the stupidest fucking thing I can think of. Like, give me that fucking... Put the dish, bring it out into the shot glass, I'll give you $20, I'll do it. You have to say yes. What bartender goes, no, that's not safe? You go, okay, dumbass, here you go. You know?
I don't know if she thought I was going to do it.
Did you puke?
No.
Did you poop?
I'm sure.
This is like, because it has to come out. Like, it has to come out. Like, did you pee like a burning pee? Like you felt like you had chlamydia for a few seconds?
No, I'm pretty sure I got hepatitis.
Oh, now you have hepatitis. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Because you know why? Because you're not supposed to drink the, it's not after milk in this case. It's the trash liquid that's been left behind, wiped up from all over the bar, spittle in many cases. In the age of COVID, if you did this right now, you'd be banned from America. They would just kick you out. You'd be canceled everywhere.
Yeah.
Remember idiots licking fucking subway poles at the beginning of the thing?
I forgot about that.
That was so fucking good, dude. People were like, this isn't even real. Look at this shit. Yeah. Every single one of those morons got COVID.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, like 3 of them were documented hospitalized after the fact.
Yeah.
Remember the one chick who got interviewed by that dude, and she's like, I have the coronavirus. Like, seriously, because I'm talking to you right now, you're going to get it. You remember that?
Yeah.
Crazy times. What a time to be alive.
I feel bad for some people who, after you started doing the socials, you started saying they probably dipped out and they didn't get to hear that whole story.
Fuck them.
So
they left early.
Yeah, that's what
this
you
is
get
for the
dipping out.
diehards, bro.
And for TikTok.
TikTokers. And for TikTok.
TikTok.
I can't believe we literally added on some show today just so you could make a TikTok out of the time you drank from
A ringed out bar rag. By the way, you were looking for, there's 2 names. A Jersey Turnpike is one name that's for the bar mat. And also in San Marcos, Texas, at Texas State, they call it a Matt Damon.
Matt Damon.
That'll do it for today's show. You've been saddled with legal obligations.
You can't do an impression of me on the show to close out the show. You horse's ass. We'll just come back next time, though. Monday, I think? Monday.
Yeah.
We'll be back on Monday, but before that, Friday. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast, where every Friday we do an ad-free premium edition of the show, accessible only by our loving, diehard supporters that keep us in business and keep us growing and showing and all the other stuff I say.
Yeah, our viral TikTok moment came from our Patreon episode, so I guarantee you we'll have more viral TikTok moments coming from our Patreon
Don't you want to be a part of those viral TikTok moments on the ground floor? Follow me now on TikTok at WRBolen, where I have 2 followers. And also go to patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast today to support the show and get an ad-free premium edition every single Friday. Huzzah. Hope you enjoyed this week. Holler at Jared and I on social media. You know the names. At Jared Borislow, at WRBolen. Probably be on Twitch at some point soon. Twitching. Check our socials. Enjoy yourself. Do not run aground in the canal this week. If you hear nothing else that we said today, hear that.
J-Bone. J-Bone. I hope nobody turned their volume up.